What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dominic Rich, and I'm back to play the predictor game. It would be the grand finale between Italy and England at Euro 2020. I did the group stages, I did the round of 16, the quarterfinals, the semifinal, and I can't forget about the final. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be taking a look at how each team got to the final, a little head-to-head, a little history, a little tactics, lineups, and all that good stuff. So what I want you to do, I want you to let me know who you think are going to win Euro 2020 in the comment section down below. Guys, if you're looking for a gift for the football lover in your family, look no more, head on over to cardsplug.com/dominicrichfc to get yourself one of these lovely football cards. Use the coupon code dominicrichfc to get yourself a whopping 35% off Euro 2020 special until the end of the tournament. All the links will be in the description box down below. Trust me, you won't regret it. Thank you. Just for some pre-match insights, this is Italy's 10th major final, 6 World Cups and 4 Euros, with only Germany, 14, having played more among European nations. Italy won the European Championship in 1968, but have lost their subsequent 2 final appearances in the competition, back in 2000 and 2012. This would be England's first ever appearance in a European Championship final, and their first in the final of a major tournament since winning the 1966 World Cup. It's the longest gap between major finals, World Cup or Euros for any European nation. 55 years. England are the 13th different nation to feature in a European Championship final, counting Czechoslovakia and the Czech Republic as one. Just 3 of the previous 12 lost their first ever final in the competition, those countries being Yugoslavia in 1960, Belgium in 1980, and Portugal in 2004. Italy have finished as runners-up of the European Championship on 2 occasions, losing to France in 2000 and Spain in 2012. Only Germany and the USSR, 3 each, have finished as runners-up more times than Italy in the competition. Euro 2020 will see England participate in the final while hosting the showpiece, the 11th instance of a European nation competing in a major tournament final as host, World Cup or Euros. England also did so at the 1966 World Cup, beating Germany 4-2 at Wembley. Both of the last 2 European host nation finalists lost the final, Portugal at Euro 2004 and France at Euro 2016. Only one of the first 8 had lost their final prior to this, Sweden at 1958 World Cup. So let's take a look at what Italy did to get to the final. In the first game, they defeated Turkey convincingly 3-0. Then they also beat Switzerland 3-0 on match day 2. Italy made about 10 changes to their 11 and still managed to beat Wales 1-0 on match day 3. They topped the group, made it to the round of 16, and went on to play Austria, one of their most difficult games at the tournament thus far, with the Austrians pushing the Italians all the way to extra time, and it took a special performance by the substitutes Pessina and Chiesa to get over the hurdle. In the quarterfinals, they came up against the mighty Belgians, a team we thought would have been too difficult for Italy to get past, but they convincingly defeated Belgium 2-1 within 90 minutes. As the tournament progressed, it seems as if things have got tougher for the Italians. You look at the round of 16 match against Austria, you look at the quarterfinal against Belgium, then you look at the semifinal against Spain, where it had to take a penalty shootout to separate the 2 teams, with Italy winning 4-1 penalties after the game ended 1-1 after extra time. Just like the game against Austria, the Italians were pushed to 120 minutes, and their mettle was tested, truly tested, against Spain. It took a brilliant goalkeeping performance by Gianluigi Donnarumma and some horrible penalty taken by Spain for Italy to get past the Spaniards and into the final to face England. But you also have to give Italy the credit for having the mental fortitude and the stamina and the skill to put these penalties in the back of the net. So congratulations, Italy, on making the final of Euro 2020. I think it's been well deserved. To also touch on England's progress so far at the tournament, on match day 1, they defeated Croatia 1-0. They came up against neighbors Scotland and could only manage a draw. Against the Czech Republic on match day 3, a squeeze pass with another 1-0 win, not conceding a single goal in the group stages, topped the group, and went on to meet Germany in the round of 16. This is where I actually thought England's tournament was going to come to an end, but they really surprised me and defeated Germany 2-0 within 90 minutes. Were the Germans that bad or the English that good? I think it's the latter. In the quarterfinals, they went on to meet Ukraine and convincingly destroyed the Ukrainians 4-0. Seemingly, England were getting better as the tournament progressed. But the semi-final game, where England went on to beat Denmark 2-1 after extra time, did not come without controversy, because that second goal scored by Harry Kane in result of a rebound from a penalty saved, it's been the talking point for quite a few days. And this, I say, has tainted England's tournament big time. Because, don't get me wrong, England has played very, very well. They had not conceded a single goal up until they met Denmark, and that goal did not even come from open play. It took a brilliant free kick by phenom Mikkel Damsgaard to beat Jordan Pickford. But with England being 1-0 down the first time they had to chase a game at the tournament, they fought well, they came back, took it to extra time, they dominated the game. I think they should have won it within 90 minutes, but you also have to give the Danes a bit of credit. Tactical changes were made, subs were brought on, and England looked the most spirited of the two teams in the last 30 minutes of the game. But when Raheem Sterling went down, some say it's a dive, some don't think it's a dive. But in real time, the ref saw that he was infringed upon, gave the penalty, and VAR did not see a clear and obvious error, and they did not overturn the decision. But anyways, it has definitely tainted England's Euros so far, because when the penalty was taken, a laser was saw shining in the eyes of the Denmark goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel, and that is really, really, really foul, man. Seriously. That is foul. If you're thinking about a foul, that's a foul. That was foul. That's despicable. And that is why a lot of people do not like English fans, because of things like this. Like, tell me why. For the life of me, tell me why would anyone do something like that? That is, come on, man. That is totally unacceptable. You do not do that. You do not do that. That's definitely bringing the game into disrepute. You do not do that. Schmeichel did save the penalty, but Harry Kane put in the rebound. England went on to win 2-1, and it was a poor display by the English fans. They booed the Danish anthem and all, a certain section of the stadium and everything. Like, come on, man, you got to be a bit more classier than that. Seriously, very, very despicable in my opinion. So England, I think, deserved to win the game. Maybe not in the fashion that they did. But look, man, we leave that for another conversation. England versus Italy in the final. So let's take a look at the form guide so far for each team. Italy, 5 wins in their last 5 games. England, 4 wins and 1 draw. Italy have been on a tremendous run, going 33 games without a loss. And England have not been on a bad run themselves, having a very stellar record at Wembley. So if you look at the overall head-to-head, England and Italy have met on 27 previous occasions, with Italy winning 10, 9 games ended in a draw, and England with 8 wins. If we actually take a look at the competitive matches played against each other, they met at the 2014 World Cup, where Italy defeated England 2-1. They also met at Euro 2012, where Italy defeated England 4-1 penalties. They met at World Cup 1990. Italy defeated England 2-1. They also met at Euro 1980, where Italy defeated England 1-0. There were also 4 World Cup qualifying fixtures, where Italy picked up 2 wins, England got 1, and 1 game ended in a draw. So it's fair to say, when it comes to a competitive fixture, Italy have always had the upper hand over the 3 Lions. So let's talk a bit about lineups, who I think would actually start the final for both teams. If we take a look at the Italian team that featured against Spain, they played a 4-3-3 formation. I think they would continue with those 4 players at the back, unless they want to make a change at left back and push Di Lorenzo in that position and start Florenzi at right. But I don't think Mancini is going to tinker too much with his setup and unbalance the whole lineup. So I think they're going to go with the goalkeeper Donnarumma and those 4 same players at the back with Emerson, Chiellini, Bonucci, and Di Lorenzo. In the middle of the field, I don't think there will be any changes as well. Jorginho has been their pivot and he has been a metronome in the midfield. Verratti has been simply amazing at the tournament so far, ever since he regained full fitness. And Nico Barella has been very dynamic, even being a goal threat. So I don't see any changes there. Pessina and Locatelli have came off the bench to great effect. And there's also Brian Cristante who could come into the mix. In the forward positions, I think maybe it's an area that we could see a little bit of tweaking going on. Insigne and Chiesa will definitely start. These 2 guys have been very good going forward. They have been goal threats and they have came up with a good so far. But Ciro Immobile's position has to come into question. He has not been scoring as of late, and we saw in the game against Spain he was taken off and a false 9 in Domenico Berardi was used, but Berardi wasn't clinical enough. Is Mancini going to continue with Ciro Immobile, or are we going to see Domenico Berardi start the game, and if it doesn't work, then you bring on a Ciro Immobile or an Andrea Bellotti? Could Bellotti even be considered for the start here? In my opinion, these are options that could be explored, but I don't think Mancini would make any changes to his 11. None. He would continue with this team, and what has worked, I think he would actually trust the guys to go and get the job done for him in the final against England. So for me, no changes. For England, they played a 4-2-3-1 formation against Denmark. Yeah, that controversial game, we're talking about it again. Jordan Pickford will be in goal. Stones and Maguire will start with Luke Shaw, Kyle Walker starting as well. But we know Gareth Southgate changes up his tactics from time to time. Is he going to go in more defensively with 3 at the back, using Walker, Stones and Maguire, bringing in Trippier, and play Shaw as a left back with Trippier as a right wing back? Are we going to see that? So therefore, you'll have 5 defenders with 2 holding midfielders as well, which would make it a 7-pronged defense. You see what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to do that, but continue with this 4-2-3-1 setup that has worked admirably so far at the tournament. Calvin Phillips would do the dirty work in the midfield along with Declan Rice. I think those 2 guys will continue to play. Mason Mount, who came back into the fold, along with Raheem Sterling, who I think has been England's best player at the tournament so far, and Bukayo Saka should retain their place, with Harry Kane starting up top. I don't see any changes being made to this England 11 at all, unless Gareth Southgate switches up his tactics and revert to a back 3 and playing wing backs. That's the only thing I could see changing here, with maybe, let's say, a Saka missing out. But I don't see it happening because Saka has been very good at the tournament, and I don't think he should be left out against Italy. So that's how I feel about each team in terms of lineups coming into the grand final. So now it's time for me to give my prediction. But before I do so, I gotta talk a little tactics here. I have been talking tactics all the time during the whole analysis, but we have to talk a little bit more about tactics. We saw when England dominated the game against Denmark, it was very difficult for them to break down that Danish backline to breach that Danish goalkeeper. And it took a penalty, whether it was a suspect penalty or not, to actually go on to win the game. The Italians are going to be very difficult to break down. And we saw when they were against Spain, Spain controlled the game for the most part, and Italy defended valiantly. Italy were on the back foot for most of the match, but they did score against the run of play. On the counter-attack, they could be very dangerous. So let's say England control the match and they have most of the possession and whatnot. You still have to look for that threat of Italy on the counter. They scored first in the match against Spain, but did allow Alvaro Morata to come off the bench, and they just cut right through the defense and put the ball in the back of the net. I think if England are allowed to control this game and allowed to shoot freely at goal like Spain was, it won't be the same thing. It won't be the same result. I think with Harry Kane up top, he would score a lot more than those Spaniards, were blasting the ball all over the place. So Italy can't allow England to control this game whatsoever. We saw how suspect England looked when Denmark were allowed to actually control their game and play in the final third of the field. And it was a nervy moment for England. So I think the key for England here is to boss possession, take the game to Italy, and try not to get hurt on the counter, like what actually happened against Spain. Talking about counterattacks, I think England could be very susceptible on the counter, because if you really look back at the game against Denmark, it was Kyle Walker running behind to catch up with the Danish forwards. It didn't really have that much pace, but when you think about Insigne and Chiesa, these guys got a little pace. Maybe not Immobile, where his name is Immobile. Come on, he does not have any pace at all. I think he could be an Achilles heel for the Italian team in terms of them countering. So let's see how this one goes. I think England would actually dominate possession in this game. Or who knows, it might just be a 50-50 end-to-end affair and we might just have a goal fest. But look, this game is going to be played at Wembley. The English fans are screaming, it's coming home. And if you check the narrative so far, the way things have gone, the way the stars have aligned for this English team, it's going to be very difficult to beat England in their own backyard when they already have one hand on the European Championship. Seriously. But the Italians have played valiantly at the tournament so far. But lately, they have been pushed to the limit, man. Seriously, 120 minutes against Austria, the same thing against Spain. And listen, I know this is going to be a very difficult decision for me to make. The Italians have looked good. So have England, who haven't yet conceded in open play at all. I think, when you check the narrative, I didn't even predict England to make it past the round of 16. And the fact that they did, guys, I think England are going on to win Euro 2020 against Italy. They're going to do it. As much as a lot of us don't want to see them do it, I'm going to predict them to win Euro 2020. I don't think they came this far to lose. They might just lose, but I'm just saying I'm going to go with England here over Italy. And that's my prediction. England to win the game, 2-1. This one could go to extra time as well. But I'm going to say England 2-1 within 90 minutes. And that's my final prediction. What's yours? Let me know in the comment section down below. So guys, that wasn't one of the easiest games to analyze, and the predictions wasn't one of the easiest to come to. But I have to make a prediction. I've been covering the tournament all month, and the final game is the hardest game to actually predict. Maybe if we had a more unbalanced final, it would have been a bit easier for me. But I've been impressed with this English team, and if you check and see what happened in the semi-final, it's just meant to happen. It's just meant to be. I think England are just meant to win Euro 2020, and the last time they won a major tournament was at home, and now this is only their second final ever. So I think it's definitely coming home. Guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like the video if you like it. Let me know your thoughts down below. And until next time, I like to say thanks for watching. Peace out. Rich Squad. Peace.